Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yourstory.com. We've got a very special panel for you. We are going to be talking about how ERP is one of the most rocking products today. In fact, ERP is often looked at as a product of legacy, but some of you won't know, but the product is one of the most resilient. And in the era of open API and cloud first solutions, ERP becomes an important stack in the entire solution. Okay? ERP as a system of record has helped many a mid-sized company plan towards becoming a large enterprise. Market research firms like Gartner predict that the ERP market is growing nicely and is close to 35 billion in business opportunity, if not more. In that context, I want to bring in e-Emphasis. E-Emphasis is a global IT solutions company providing industry-specific ERP software to equipment dealerships and rental companies in the construction, mining, forestry, material handling, agriculture, heavy trucking, aggregate, and sanitation industries. In today's connected world, e-Emphasis provides a unified view of company data to simplify customer experiences while improving operational efficiency and creating significant increases in bottom line. In this episode, we will be talking to senior leaders from e-Emphasis about what makes this platform different from others. I would like to introduce our guests, Sachin Dante and Krishna Kanth. How are you? Both of you good? All well?
All well, Vishal.
All well,
Thank you.
Vishal.
Little context and a little introduction about our guests because they're senior individuals. Sachin is a senior director at e-Emphasis Applications, and he's been at the company since 2014. He has 2 decades of industry experience and is the alumnus of Mumbai University and the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Krishna Kanth is a senior director R&D e-Emphasis ERP. He too has been with the company since 2013. He has 2 decades of experience and is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur. So, guys, this interview is for you. People who want to get new age, ERP applications. You want to make sure that your businesses grow fast, and you also want to understand how e-Emphasis is scaling up. So let me begin with Krishna Kanth. Krishna, how are you firstly, and could you explain the e-Emphasis business model and how is it different from other platforms? Because that sets the context. And Sachin, you can also, answer this after Krishna takes the opening batting. Go on, Krishna.
Thank you, Vishal, first of all, for this great opportunity to present ourselves. We are a very proud product company with end-to-end enterprise solutions, exclusively focused on heavy equipment distributors and rental houses. In terms of unique differentiator, what we have is a digital transformation platform that seamlessly integrates various enterprise class applications like ERP, CRM, business intelligence, e-commerce, for that matter, a host of field service applications. And there are not many players who do these kind of large applications today. We are unique in the sense that all these multiple large scale solutions, we not only develop these solutions, we also make sure that they are all working together seamlessly all the time. And that is one of the big challenge for most customers who use these enterprise class applications otherwise. And I am not aware of any other player who actually focuses on this aspect to keep things integrated all the time. It's a very challenging thing, especially when each product has its own different release cycle. So that's something. And this digital platform that I talk about, this is something that can be applied to any industry, if not every industry, a lot of industries. But we have kept our exclusive focus on this heavy equipment distributors and rental space because we have invested about 20 years of our time into learning this domain. With our deep domain understanding, we are able to stand on our own in the company of large established players like Microsoft, Infor, and SAP. So that's something that is unique about us, having this deep domain understanding and the digital transformation platform. We are right now in about 15 countries and the list is growing.
Okay, interesting. And Sachin, the uniqueness also comes from the fact that, like Krishna mentioned, it's 20 years of building this technology. And, the fact that today everyone talks about technology first, IT has been consumerized in many ways, right? And it's real-time data, real-time applications. And that's what makes this application unique. And is your team working on technologies that are relevant for today's world?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Vishal. So, in terms of technology, we are basically everywhere. On the ERP side, we work on a flavor of the C programming language, in fact, called Bon C. And on the databases side, we are into practically every database technology that's out there, relational, non-relational, SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, pretty much anything you throw at us, we are there. On the server side, we do a whole lot of work on the .NET platform. On the front end side, there's a whole host of technologies that we are concentrated in. On the mobile side, we are on Android, iOS. A very large number of applications that we have built have a mobile front end on Android and iOS. We have also developed a very big concentration in technologies such as Angular and React Native. These are kind of the new age technologies, and we are seeing a lot of utility in incorporating those kinds of technologies in our products. We have a pretty large artificial intelligence product stack, and we use Python extensively. A whole host of Python-based libraries come into play over there. On the cloud, we are basically on the top two cloud platforms, Microsoft Azure and Amazon AWS. So we have a very substantial presence on both of those cloud platforms. Our cloud technologies, the platforms, the frameworks that we have running over there are one of the industry's best that you can find.
Okay, this is a good segue into the next question, and because everyone talks about AI and IoT for digitizing dealerships and rental equipment management processes, right? It's it's an industry where people find it very difficult to transform, but yet you are simplifying it for these customers of yours, especially the dealerships and rental equipment management service providers. You want to talk about why AI and IoT are important for these guys and how you're leveraging your cloud technology for these people.
Sure, Vishal. So, well, for us, it kind of all boils down to providing high quality user experience. So that's where everything starts for us. And what we do is we start with the business processes, the end user problem, the user's need, and then we put together the right mix of technologies to actually satisfy that need, fulfill that need. So from that perspective, we have been able to leverage a whole host of both the traditional set of technologies such as .NET and C and Java and so forth, and also some of the new age technologies like AI and Angular, React, and some of those that I mentioned earlier. But an kind of the undercurrent over here is to always identify a specific user need among our customers, and then use the right mix of technologies to solve that problem. So I'll give you an example.
Yes, please.
Sure. Service technicians oftentimes travel down to customer sites where the machine is located, and they open the machine, they find that it's badly broken or it's broken in some non-trivial way. They don't always have the expertise to solve the problem right there and then. And so they have to interact with experts, service experts, who might not be located any place close by. So instead of calling the expert and then exchanging pictures of what they're seeing and videos and that sort of thing, wouldn't it be nice if both the expert and the technician can work in the context of a augmented reality experience to quickly identify what the problem is and solve it? So that's the need that we identified, and then we brought to bear three very different types of technologies. There's computer vision, there is AI, and then there's a sophisticated networking technology that we brought into play. And then we kind of enabled all three of them on the mobile platform, and we created our augmented reality offering. And that's geared specifically to solve this particular problem. So that's kind of how we work. We identify real problems, real pain points that our customers are experiencing, and then we bring to bear the exact set of technologies that are needed to actually solve the problem. So on the AI side, for example, we have a whole host of product offerings. We have an AI product that service technicians can use to diagnose problems. There is the AR product that I talked about just now, the augmented reality product. Then we have a predictive analytics suite of services available, which are used for doing things such as helping parts purchase managers arrive at some kinds of estimates on when they would be able to see the part arrive that they have ordered. So the part lead times are predicted by this AI suite, and that goes a long way towards being able to plan out the inventories and provide downstream guidance to the customer on when they will be able to see the part arrive at their doorstep. So it's sort of these kind of a gaggle of use cases that kind of together come to bear in providing a high quality user experience.
No, this is phenomenal because I think people watching this would appreciate, because you can track data 24 into 7. There's predictive analysis, there's diagnosis in every bit of the way in the entire supply chain, right? And I'm sure that this predictive nature is appreciated by many of your clients, Krishna. And how many of these people want these solutions in different countries? And I think in each country, when you talk about data, there are regulatory practices, because when you talk IoT, you need real-time data. You need to connect to servers all around the world, pull data from all over the world. You need IoT devices that need to be secure. So how do you help all these clients in understanding their business in each geography with each regulatory environment, and help Sachin's team deliver world-class products?
Yeah, absolutely, Vishal. So this is something that is required by almost every business house today. Every customer of ours want to have the AI, IoT, and all the cutting edge technology application that Sachin mentioned about. Now, and it's a great challenge for us to basically work on those kind of tools. But very early in our product journey, we realized that one has to make sure that there is single version of each product. You don't really do many different versions for each different country or geography, because sure enough, if you go from country to country or a different geography, there are certain things that you do have to provide for, like for example the currencies, the language, the compliance requirements, and of course the taxation. Every one of these things are very local, and you do have to provide whatever kind of product you might be doing globally. So very early we realized that, and when we started our product journey, our team was hard bent to make sure that we put in the foundation that is very generic as far as the business practices are concerned. So we have a very robust base layer in the product that is able to accommodate current practices across the globe, anywhere in the world. It is able to take those global practices to any country. And at the same time, what happens is, for all the localization, we use a very robust framework of localization that is very unique to us. It is very horizontally scalable, in the sense that if I enter into any new country where there are different language, different currency that I have not come across earlier, I am able to put together a localization capsule for that particular geography. And typically my time to market for such kind of new situations is in weeks, at the most maybe couple of months. And that is something that is very difficult to achieve for most people if they are thinking about those things much later in their product journey.
But India is a great country to leapfrog legacy and go into digital transformation. What is that starting point? If anybody in the rental space is watching, the dealership space, for them, what should digital transformation mean, and where should they start? That'll be a great segue to the next question for Sachin, which is about where is this industry heading with technology, right? Over to you, Krishna. Go on.
Yeah. So these are very, very interesting time as far as India is concerned, because of course there are a lot of players who are unorganized in the space. But what we do see is, with the very large project focus, especially the infrastructure push, a lot of things that are getting again focus in manufacturing as well as mining, etc. So now what is happening is, the equipment fleet size of the players out here is likely to grow. We do see there is there are challenges to the technology adoption due to the current scales and the current unorganized nature of the industry. But this is changing very rapidly, especially with a lot of shift to the cloud-based product. I mean, acceptability of that. There is also the upcoming 5G rollouts and now the device penetration as well as connectivity. Those aspects are very rapidly changing the overall landscape. And now what happens is, for us, especially with our cloud strategy, we can reach out to many of these players who are competing with the global players in their own way, and we are able to basically kind of intervene on their behalf as far as the players who are wanting to scale up their operations, who are open to the digital transformation. And I think a lot of digital transformation is dependent on the culture that we create for accepting these kind of transformations, as well as the vision has to be there, which is what we see right now in the business leadership as well as the government of India's own initiatives. And now what happens is, for people like us to help these players with the deep IT connectivity and the data linkages, because that is what is the differentiator today for any businesses. So let's say we have a local player who has got a kind of a SME profile today, but if he's opting for, let's say, a metro construction or any large engineering project or a mining kind of project, he has to definitely compete with the global players today, because all the global players are present in India. And so this player that is local Indian is very much going to require all the global practices, and it is also going to require very quick transformation to the digital platforms, because that's the only way he can basically effectively manage his own fleet of equipments and provide value-added services to the businesses that he's dealing with. And we are seeing a very rapid change in this whole space. And I think there are interesting times ahead, and in India as a market also.
Sachin here now, because Sachin, I think customer experience is key. So many technologies have changed over the years, and you've been touted as Uber of the equipment industry, and there are some key lessons in that 20-year journey of this company that certain technologies can change, and you can actually tell these businesses that technology is very easy to implement today. It should be part of the business DNA, right? Over to you, Sachin. Your thoughts on this?
Yes, absolutely, Vishal. So I think you said it perfectly, that the technology landscape keeps changing. It's extremely fluid. And so instead of anchoring your entire offering in terms of which technology is available or not available today, what we have decided is to anchor all of our offerings on what is it that the user wants. So for us, everything starts and ends with the user. So that is like the number one thing that we have learned in our history as a company, that if you cannot provide a high quality user experience, if the end user experience falls short, then really nothing else that you provide really matters. So that's really what we have striven to achieve, always identifying user needs, where are the pain points, what are the business processes that we can show value in, and then bringing into play the right set of technologies in actually fulfilling those needs. That is kind of what our mantra has been.
Okay. Would you say that these guys should focus on, for example, equipment industry dealerships have to figure out supply chain. So they need, financial systems on the cloud, fintech. They need mobile-based bookings. They need maps on the mobile for people to deliver and bring their product, right? So, in many cases, it's an integrated suite today when you talk about the modern ERP, right? It's an experience like you mentioned. But these things, how many of them get right, Sachin? And is it an hand-holding that you have to do? Because we have to talk about agility, operational efficiency, and seamless experiences, right? These are something that your company stands on. In the context of your customers, how many of them really understand this, and how have you taken it forward? If you can give us examples, also would be lovely.
Certainly. Yeah. So those three things that you mentioned, agility, operational efficiency, a high quality user experience.
Yes.
Those are really kind of the three legs of the stool, so to speak. And we are kind of we are there when it comes to enabling our users on all three of those legs. From a product perspective, from a solution perspective, the way we work is that once we have identified an area in which we can unlock meaningful value for our customers, then we move very fast on that. And the agility, the speed that we bring to the table over there really comes from how quickly we are able to orient our internal processes in achieving that goal, and what is the set of technologies that we bring to bear to get us to the finish line. So those are really the two things. Um, on the ops efficiency side, well, we are really very big believers in automation. So a good deal of the operational efficiency comes into play from these very large automation stacks that we are running, both within the company as well as at customer side. So so to your request for an example, let me kind of give you an example over there. A lot of times, service technicians, I'll kind of come back to the service use case again. Service technicians tend to use an application incorrectly, either because they are in a hurry, they have 10 different things to work through during the day, or simply because the weather is bad, it's raining or snowing and so forth. So sometimes the wrong button gets pressed on the application, sometimes the key workflow gets missed out and so forth. So now operationally, that can mean a lot of things for our customers. In the simplest scenario, when the technician comes back to work the following day, they may not be able to use the application properly because of key steps that have gone missing during the work the previous day. Now that leads to a drop in operational efficiency. So we have identified areas such as this that come out of just sheer user experience. And instead of waiting for the technicians to complain to their managers that, well, I'm not able to use the application because of X, Y, and Z that I forgot to do yesterday. So could you please contact e-Empasys and kind of set that right for me? We have automation suites running 24/7 at the customer sites, which actually detect the instances of incorrect application usage and flag it right there to their managers, saying that just take a look at this. Even before the technician starts work on the application, we have found an instance of an incorrect usage, and this is what you need to do to fix it. In some other areas, our system actually goes in and does the fix by itself, even without the technician having to come in and manually undo the mistake that they did the previous day. So they start their next day not even realizing that they made a mistake the previous day, and the system has kind of silently come in and fixed the mistake for them. So those kinds of automation-driven operational efficiencies we have brought to the table for our customers.
Sachin, I want to stick with you here and ask you about, everyone thinks ERP implementation is expensive, but you have an implementation methodology which is proprietary, unique. You can rapidly deploy ERP. And I want you to talk about why do current individual family businesses or SMBs or mid-sized companies still think ERP is expensive, but you spoke about great customer experience. Once you give them that, they understand that, okay, ERP is the way forward, digital transformation is the way forward. You offer them a digital transformation platform, but that methodology that you want to talk about, it's called Step Fast. I've heard it's called Step Fast. How does that work, and why do SMBs, believe that this is the way forward with your implementation methodology? Over to you.
Sure. This whole methodology that we have created, it's based on experience. It's also based on, and it's also based on understanding where our customers kind of stumble in ERP implementations. And one of the places that we found that customers oftentimes stumble when it comes to implementing large pieces of software such as ERP is not so much on the software side or not so much on the technology side, but more so on the business processes side of the picture. So on one hand, they have a whole set of business processes that they've gotten very used to using, and now they have to kind of execute those business processes in the context of new software that has been put on the table in front of them. And so what we do is very early on in the project, in the implementation phase, we kind of get them used to the software from the perspective of how it would implement those business processes that they are so used to implementing, and that kind of sets the stage for the rest of the implementation of the project. So that's one of the key ingredients in our fast implementation model. The other thing, the other big thing that we bring to the table is that our product really is kind of an end-to-end offering. So once we offer that product to our customers, they don't really need to look elsewhere for anything. Everything from back-end processes that a lot of their users are very used to executing, to front-end actions such as equipment service, sales through CRM, business intelligence offering, e-commerce offering through which they can sell spare parts to their end users. So essentially, the entire suite of offerings from the backend ERP to business intelligence to e-commerce to equipment self-service to rentals, rental availability, sales through CRM, equipment service, field service, scheduling, everything comes kind of shrink wrapped as one product offering. So they really need to go just to one place, which is e-Empasys, and everything kind of works very seamlessly together. So as they go on, as our user community goes on mastering the applications one at a time, they see a lot of acceleration in the way that they understand the product, because everything kind of very nicely connects with each other. So that also speeds up the implementation.
No, that's wonderfully put, and I'm really enjoying this conversation simply because the seamless way to function, it should become the order of the day, right? In SMBs, I've seen invoices are manual, some processes are on Excel sheet. Then there is an ERP that they do it because it's for compliance reasons. They have an ERP. So if guys are watching this, like Sachin said, you have to get into this integrated world to get competitive. And like Krishna said, your competition is going to be global, not local anymore. Sachin, where the context has been set by Krishna very nicely. The next 5 years become very important. Everybody's looking at rental as a business model. E-commerce has skyrocketed. There's significant changes in business models. So where do you see the next 5 years for e-Empasys? Where do you see the growth coming from? And what markets will you see major transformations in?
Sure. Well, overall, we are seeing a lot of consolidation in the heavy equipment industry. So smaller customers are becoming very large customers. Large customers are becoming extremely large customers. But now, irrespective of that consolidation happening, we are very well positioned to handle the operations and the business processes of these very large multi-billion-dollar revenue enterprises which we serve today. So our entire product offering is on an extremely strong footing in the way of being able to service these extremely large consolidated customers. On the offerings and product side, you're absolutely correct. There's definitely a very rentals. We are already over there in the way of a number of offerings that we have in the rental space, in the way of rental availability, being able to book a rental and add it to your shopping cart and check out in a kind of exactly the same way as you would purchase something from Amazon. So we are over there as well. COVID in particular has put a lot of focus on e-commerce. We already have a pretty strong e-commerce offering, and we are investing heavily in that space as well. So what we are today is essentially, Amazon.com for spare parts of heavy equipment, and we kind of want to stay that way. Equipment self-service, being able to, like I said, book a rental online or check up the status of your fleet or log a service request online. Those kinds of equipment self-service activities, being able to pay your invoices online. Our customers, users are very actively demanding that kind of a capability in the current COVID, long distance scenario. We are there as well. We have a pretty strong offering, a pretty strong set of features on the equipment self-service side of things. From a geographical perspective, currently most of our business comes from the North American continent, so Canada, US, and Mexico. But we have also established a strong foothold in the United Kingdom and in the EU geography, and we are planning on expanding our presence very rapidly in those two geographies. On the eastern side of the globe, we already have a very strong presence in Japan. We are planning on expanding into other large geographical areas on that side of the globe, especially Australia and maybe even China.
I'm glad I spoke to both of you. Guys, those who are watching this, especially the mid-market enterprises, SMBs wanting to transform themselves. This is an amazing opportunity for you to understand not just digital transformation, but also people transformation with technology. And e-Empasys allows you to do that, right? So this is Krishna Kanth and Sachin Dante. They are the senior members of e-Empasys. Get in touch with them, understand what the company does, and make sure that you go through digital transformation in a fulfilling manner rather than just trying it out like the last decade. We tried many ERP solutions. And for many of you who worked with me, who've spoken to me, have also told me that ERP was difficult, but times have changed. Implementing technology is very easy, and it's going to be easier with e-Empasys. Gentlemen, thank you so much. All the best in your careers and at your company and for the team that you run. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon again. Thank you for being on Your Story. And this is Vishal Krishna signing off. Thank you.